What's up, guys? I'm Dennis Thabizness of Black Social TV. Click subscribe. This time around, we're talking about technology. Now, you all know that we could not talk about iTunes without talking about Apple. These two would move hand in hand. But the rest of the news right now, and the breaking story is that Apple is obviously phasing out the one and only the streaming platform of iTunes right there. But one thing for sure is you should know that Apple has phased out iTunes, like for real. Now, we all knew it as the iconic streaming platform right there in the world of technology. I mean, everyone that has an iPhone knows what I'm talking about. And there's no way we could talk about iTunes without talking about the music industry that has changed dramatically since Apple disrupted or changed the way people could purchase songs online and albums for nearly 2 decades ago. So that shows that technology has changed traversely right here on the globe, and it could be also in your household. So Apple is particularly phasing out iTunes and is replacing it with some of the modern apps. Now, one may ask, how modern are those apps that they are bringing in? Yeah, but one thing for sure, we shall keep you posted. Now, just this Monday, that is today, Apple announced that iTunes will be replaced by a trio of desktop apps that is called music, TV, and podcasts. And lately, it looks like podcasts have come a very big deal in the world of technology right away. But one thing for sure is we cannot talk about music streaming platforms without talking about obviously also podcasts and iTunes itself. But this time around, similar to how these services are already divided on iPhones and iPads and whatever device that you do have right there. Now, the previous past purchases and the libraries will be maintained in each app on the Mac computers. That's if you have one. Say some of the business guys in the technology right there, as it is a worldwide developer conference in San Jose. That is where Apple is located. Showed off its next generation mobile software, that is the iOS 13, or call it the International Operating System 13, which got a dark mode and improved Siri capabilities right there, and looks like a cheese grater, if you know what I'm saying. But the move to phase out iTunes didn't come as a total surprise, as the company has been pushing users towards its Apple Music subscription service. For everyone who has an iPhone, you know what I'm talking about. You could get that notification and you could wonder how. But one thing for sure is it is interested to do that. Now, after all, Apple can charge a small monthly fee to boost revenue rather than wait for also a customer to buy a few songs. Now, the Apple Music app is focused obviously on on the music platforms and personalizing recommendations. The podcasts as well talk about the app lets you search with the help of what can I say? With the help of the machine learning, and the TV app will blend content from networks such as the likes of the Showtime, call it also the HBO, along with the original programming from Apple. Talking about the company, they said that the users will still be able to purchase and download songs through iTunes Music Store within the Music app, and can buy movies and TV shows in the Apple TV app. Now, iTunes, talking about its gift cards, will also stay active, says one spokesman right there in the world of technology. Now, for people who used iTunes, yeah, for people who use iTunes as their devices, Apple said the tool will now be located via the sidebar in the Finder on their Macs or the iPhones. Now, there is also the Mac OS that features unveiled the WWDC typically launch in the fall. Now, Apple didn't announce whether it would issue similar new apps for the Windows PCs. So this time around, they are catering for the Apple the Apple devices strictly. Now, iTunes formerly launched back then in 2001, but its music store launched 2 years later. You all remember that one. And obviously, the whole technology went friends with iPhones and all that kind of stuff. Now, it changed the way, obviously, we all buy songs and albums. The format came at a time that music business struggled with online piracy. Obviously, there was a lot of copyrights and file sharing sites with a relatively user interface that time round. Now, a simple billing tool and an and on-demand catalog, iTunes, far better experience than any other platform at that time, back in 2001, 2, and 3. Now, talking about iTunes, a plan, or call it the strategy, it has been closely aligned, obviously, with Apple's devices and the business. But the rise of subscription content and services is just clear and plain to see that it will shift away from the iTunes model, said one of the analysts that I watched online. Now, he says that for Apple's own business, it marks the strategic shift away from a central hardware focus to a business, of course, with subscription content and services, which increases obviously importantly for the margin and revenues. Now, let's talk the research here that obviously phone subscription services accounted for more than 80% of online music. Wow. And obviously also the video revenues in 2018. This was a couple of bucks right here compared with the less than 10% back in 2008. Now, talking about North America and Western Europe, those are the statistics. Now, over the years, you could see that critics obviously argued that the apps like the ones already on the iPhones and the iPads could offer a smarter approach. Now that Apple has now acquired 56 million paying customers, perhaps the time is ripe for such a change in such a business. Now, but obviously but the news doesn't mean that it will remotely be deleting years of downloaded and the purchased songs and the movies. Yeah, so the users and the clients, the consumers of Apple products shouldn't worry at any one time. It will likely roll out next steps to manage and access downloaded content in other ways, such as via Apple Music. Yep. So that is it for obviously the device lovers and the technology lovers right there. Yes, that is the news. Apple faces out iTunes this time round, but we also expect better inventories from the likes of Apple. So watch out for the iOS 13, or call it the international operating system for Apple and iPhone. But the real fact is, bye-bye iTunes. Thanks for the 2 decades. My name is Dennis Thabizness for Black Social TV. Click subscribe.